Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. India foils Pakistan's attacks along entire western border, successfully intercepts Pakistan missiles directed at Jammu. Army retreats, resolved to respond to all nefarious designs with force. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting launches India Fights propaganda campaign, urges citizens to support and amplify this campaign, says put up this as the profile picture on all official social media accounts. India's External Affairs Minister speaks to US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Italy's Deputy Prime Minister Antonio Tajani and EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas underlines India's targeted and measured response to cross-border terrorism. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif to take concrete steps to end support for terrorist groups, reaffirms commitment to work with India in fight against terrorism in a call to Dr. J Shankar. Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to chiefs of border guarding forces. BSF foils a major infiltration bid along international boundary in Samba district of J&K. Pakistan Armed Forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th May. Indian Army shared a video and said Pakistan troops also resorted to numerous ceasefire violations or CFVs along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The drone attacks were effectively repulsed and befitting reply was given to the CFVs. Indian Army remains committed to safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation. All nefarious designs will be responded with force. Alright, so Pakistan Armed Forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th May, and Indian Army shared this video and said that Pakistan troops also resorted to numerous ceasefire violations along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. So the drone attacks were effectively repulsed and a befitting reply was given to the CFVs. And notably, Indian Defence Forces successfully neutralized missile and drone attacks by Pakistan targeting key areas in Jammu, Satwari, Samba, Araspura and Arnia. According to defence sources, the attack was repelled with zero casualties, showcasing India's robust defence preparedness and real-time operational readiness. The Pakistani military action comes after India conducted precision strikes on terrorist camps in Pakistan, and Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir as part of Operation Sindoor, specifically clarifying that no Pakistani military infrastructure was targeted. And a desperate Pakistan is now scrambling for cover from Indian response to its misadventures across the border and LOC. Pakistan's Economic Affairs Division has now appealed to international nations for more money and urged them to help de-escalate. Alright, so this is the tweet amid escalating war and stocks crash. So this is the tweet by Economic Affairs Division, Government of Pakistan. A desperate Pakistan is now scrambling for cover from Indian response to its misadventures across the border and line of control. And Pakistan's Economic Affairs Division, so this is what they have tweeted. They have now appealed to international nations for more money and urged them to help de-escalate. And a crucial meeting of the International Monetary Fund will take place in Washington on Friday, that is today. Ahead of the crucial IMF meeting, India on Thursday hinted that it could communicate its view to the global financial body on its bailout package for Pakistan. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said India's executive director at the IMF will put forward the country's position during the meeting of the board of the global body on Friday.
We have an executive director at the IMF. Tomorrow there is a meeting of the board of the IMF, and I'm sure that our executive director will put forward India's position. The decisions of the board are a different matter. You know the process through which they are made. But I think the case with regard to Pakistan should be self-evident to those people who generously open their pockets to bail out this country. And since you are from Bloomberg, I think you would have the data on how many IMF bailout programs have been, very good, thank you, have been sanctioned in the space of the last 3 decades. And I think you would also have an idea of how many of those programs have actually reached successful conclusion. Probably not many. So I think this is a decision that board members have to take by looking deep within themselves and looking at the facts.
And the IMF Executive Board is scheduled to meet Pakistan officials today for first review of the extended funding facility. Pakistan has received several bailout packages from the IMF over the past 10 years. All right, we'll go across to DD India's Akshay Dongre. Akshay, Pakistan begging for money, literally. They are on the mercy of the IMF, and India will take up the matter with them in its meeting today as well. Tell us how significant will be the meeting.
Well, quite despicable, Abhishek, for Pakistan to take cover of this, provocation that was done by them, the attack on civilians that was done by them, the attack on Indian cities that were done by them, and now, running again with a bowl, empty bowl, and asking the world and allies for more money. So it's quite shameful and dishonorable for a country to do such a thing at the onset of a war that was initiated by them. So, clearly what we are seeing right now is a total economic collapse in Pakistan with the country resorting to begging money to survive. So that is the situation as far as Pakistan is concerned. They have today there will be a meeting as far as IMF's review of its funds are concerned, and a country that is launching millions of dollars worth of missiles and drones against a democratic country should not be asking for loans and for funds to run its own country. We can recall the leadership of Pakistan had said that even if they have to eat grass, they will be developing nuclear weapons. Well, it has become a reality. Pakistan does have nuclear weapons, and it has forced its population to eat grass quite literally with the kind of economic collapse that we are seeing inside Pakistan. So upping the ante, especially against a rogue nation like Pakistan, can only be done in a coordinated manner that is being done by India right now, which also includes economic aspects, which also includes trade bans on Pakistan, of refusing them our airspace, and Pakistan is going to crumble from inside on its own. So unless and until other allies who have been supporting Pakistan and trying to support Pakistan, such as Turkey, Azerbaijan or China, they give Pakistan loans, there is no chance that IMF is going to renew loans to a country that is actively engaged in war, using fighter aircraft, using missiles and drones that it is importing from other countries at such a large cost and using against a democratic country to kill civilians of the country. So clearly there is a very strong case against Pakistan this time around, and India definitely is going to take up the country on that.
Strong case against Pakistan, and the meeting will be held on Friday, that is today. Akshay, we are talking about the IMF matter will be raised today by India in the meeting. Government of Pakistan begging literally for loans and help de-escalate, scrambling for cover. Also, Akshay, talk about putting pressure on the FATF also to grey list Pakistan all over again.
Well, yes, certainly there is going to be, a renewed effort by India and its allies as well to put Pakistan once again in the FATF grey list. That is, to monitor the kind of funding that Pakistan has been providing historically to terror groups. And now what we are seeing right now is that as soon as Pakistan came out of the grey list, it started with its nefarious agenda in design, targeting civilians, killing people, killing innocents, on communal lines. So clearly a very strong case for Pakistan to be put back in the FATF grey list and perhaps even in the blacklist from here on with the kind of threat to the regional peace that it has caused because of ambitions of its military, ambitions of its political leadership, as well as ambitions of other agencies that are working inside the country.
Also, Akshay, following last night's failed offensive by Pakistan, where Indian Defence Forces successfully intercepted drone and missile attacks, what do you make of the action India has taken so far in response to Pakistan?
Well, it has been calibrated, it has been mature, and it has been proportionate, Abhishek. These are the words when you gauge the response by India. India has not arbitrarily attacked Pakistani civilians or Pakistani civilian establishments or even the military establishments. It was pinpointedly attacking on only the terror targets. But now with the situation escalating, you never know where the conflict will go from here.
All right, Akshay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. And big news coming in here from Chandigarh. An air warning has been received from Air Force Station of possible drone attack. Sirens are being sounded and all have been advised to remain indoors and away from the balcony. So big news that we are tracking this out, that air warning has been received from the Air Force Station of possible drone attack, and sirens are being sounded there in Chandigarh, and as a matter of precaution, all have been advised to remain indoors, do not come out, and they stay away from the balconies. All right, people who have just tuned in, all right, so these are the last night shots that we are playing now here of Chandigarh. These are the visuals of Chandigarh that we are getting you. But today, the big news that we are tracking is that, so these are the last night visuals that we are playing of the, you can see the missiles. We are getting to understand that these are Hamas-style attacks by Pakistan. And today, air warning has been received from Air Force Station of a possible drone attack. DD India's Akanksha Saxena has more information on this. She is joining us on the phone line from Chandigarh. Akanksha, an air warning has been received from the Air Force Station of possible drone attack. What is the latest that you have?
We just have this warning and the advisory from the local government, from the DC Chandigarh, that people should stay indoors and they should not be going at balconies. And the siren has been blaring at from 9:15. Now the sirens are off yet. But again, the threat is there, and keeping in view the threat at the Air Force station has given this advisory, and the administration has also given the advisory to the people. Last night also the sirens were there, the blackout was there till more than midnight, and after that in the morning today at 9:15 around, the sirens were again on. So possibly the people are told to stay indoors, and they are told to stay vigilant and not venture out if it is not important. So as for now, there is no other information which can be shared. But yes, the advisory is there that people should stay indoors.
Yes, like you're saying, Akanksha, blackouts imposed across Punjab and also Chandigarh, where you are reporting from amid military alerts and security concerns. Akanksha, also, how is the situation being handled there, making sure that there's no panic among the citizens?
I will tell you that the mock drills were done quite very efficiently. The schools were apprised. The mock drills were done in the schools also. Last night, whatever the development has happened, all the schools and the institutions are closed till further orders. And if you see the situation, everybody, it was normal in the morning. People were just getting back to their work. And however, with the sirens now, things have changed. People are staying indoors. And more on this will be, I think probably in some time we will be able to know what exactly the government is, what exactly the administration is planning, whether they would be closing down the offices and the banks and everything. But as far as other things are concerned, it is all normal. Everything is in normalcy. There is no kind of panic here. But yes, the advisory is there, so people has to take care about the advisory which has been issued by the administration and Air Force Station.
Absolutely, Akanksha, thank you for the time being. But yes, keep tracking the story. We'll keep taking updates from you. Meanwhile, the Border Security Force foiled a major infiltration attempt along the international boundary in Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday night. In the post on X, BSF Jammu wrote, at around 2300 hours on 8th May, BSF foiled a major infiltration bid at the international boundary in Samba district, J&K. All right, we'll go across to DD India. Shabir Dar is joining us live from Srinagar. Shabir, there have been intense exchanges of fire in the border areas of Jammu and Kashmir. Tell us, what is the current condition along the border, and is Pakistan repeatedly breaching the ceasefire agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. The Pakistan has been breaching repeatedly this ceasefire agreement, and what we have seen from past few days, particularly after the Operation Sindhu, there has been heavy exchange of fire and artillery in border areas of Uri, Karna, and Kupwara. Because of this, there is a huge evacuation of large evacuation of civilian population to the safer areas. Last night, as there was attacks in Jammu, similarly in Uri there was heavy exchange of artillery fire, which has resulted in death of a lady, which is not been confirmed by the authorities as of now. But sources do tell us that one lady in Uri has succumbed after she was hit by a shell from the Pakistan. So obviously a tense situation in areas like Uri, Karna, Tagjar, Kupwara, but overall the Kashmir is calm. The normal life is going on in Srinagar this time around, but there is also apprehension and fear among people. People are taking precautions, particularly around the Srinagar airport and other security installations which are sensitive, which are like vulnerable to any misadventure by the enemy country. Remember, the J&K government has put up emergency plans and created control rooms across districts, and particularly in areas where there is a threat of Pakistan shooting artillery or the small firing. So all schools, colleges and universities have been closed in Srinagar and in entire Jammu and Kashmir. Similarly, government is ensuring that no fake and fake news or rumors are spread in Jammu and Kashmir, because in past few days we have seen a lot of videos and reels and fake narratives while peddled by various social media handles, and those are creating a bit of crisis. So the Lieutenant Governor yesterday chaired a high-level security meeting in Jammu and Kashmir and directed all security agencies, district SPs and DMs to ensure that no fake news is being allowed to spread, and we have seen that in past few days, authorities have acted against few people who were found involved in, spreading fake news. So, the situation is under control, but yes, in forward areas, in border, in Uri, Kupwara and Tangdar, there is evacuation of the people, and as we speak, there is reports of damage to the civilian property in last night's shelling. So the authorities are making efforts to ensure that people who are being evacuated are giving the safe stay and accommodation and all facilities.
Right, Shabir, like you're saying, various advisories have been issued by the government. CM Omar Abdullah also assessing the security situation. But how are they managing the ongoing tension in the region? Because how are they managing in the sense that there is no panic among the citizens and civilians?
Yeah, I think the people have realized now that the way our armed forces were able to destroy all the missile attacks by the Pakistan yesterday night. So that has given a hope to the people that yes, we are under safe hands. Our armed forces are there to protect us. So that is a silver lining. And amid this chaos of war-like situation in Jammu and Kashmir, we have seen that from the day one when Pakistan started, unprovoked firing in border areas, how swift action was there from the government, and people are being taken to we have seen from last days authorities are engaging the community leaders, the religious leaders and influencers to ensure that there is no chaos and confusion among people in these times of crisis, because obviously this is a very specific situation when people need to be have a bold face along with the with our soldiers. So obviously that display be it in Srinagar or in Jammu or in border areas, because we have seen how people calmly
right.
Evacuated to safer places, not only in border areas but in Srinagar around the airport, which is obviously a vulnerable spot in Srinagar, and in Pampur, where there are some installations, how people are cooperating with the security forces, how they are cooperating with government administration to ensure that if there is any misconception
yes.
that has been dispelled, and people are showing a brave face given the fact that they have assurance in their mind that
yes, that is very important. Also, we'll leave it at that. Shabir, thank you for apprising us with the current situation there. Meanwhile, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah is visiting Jammu today to assess the security and public safety situation after Thursday night's failed Pakistani drone attack directed at Jammu city and other parts of the division. Authorities have urged public to remain alert and report any suspicious activity, especially in areas near the border. All right, for the latest, DD India's Ankush Sharma is joining us on the phone line from Jammu. Ankush, Pakistan attempted to strike military installations in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur using drones and missiles last night, all of which were successfully neutralized by the Indian forces. Like we reported also, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah will be visiting Jammu today. What is the update on the ground there? What is the latest that you can tell us from Jammu?
See, the current situation in Jammu is normal and fully under control. Security forces remain on high alert and extra deployments are in place to ensure the safety of residents. No fresh firing or disturbances have been reported since early morning. Tensions began on the evening on 8th May when Pakistan launched drone and missile attacks targeting Indian military station in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur. Indian forces responded immediately using both kinetic and system, including the advanced technologies, their swift action prevented any major damage or casualties. Around 4 a.m. on 9th May, fresh explosions were heard from the Pakistan side, followed by sirens in border areas and urban areas as well. Continuous firing was reported in Samba, Pura, and many places in LOC. In Samba, Indian troops successfully foiled an infiltration attempt, and a complete blackout was enforced across the Jammu region as a precaution. All schools, colleges, and educational institutes will remain closed in all sensitive areas. Chief Minister Amrullah has arrived in Jammu. He will visit government medical college to meet the injured and may also inspect border areas affected by the shelling. Authorities have urged citizens to remain calm, stay indoors, avoid social media propaganda, and not to respond to unknown numbers, calls, or click suspiciously.
Also, Ankush, there are reports that BSF successfully thwarted a significant infiltration attempt along the international border in Samba district last night. What has been the response of the local residents and civilians to these developments happening there in Jammu?
In addition to responding to cross-border firing, the border security forces successfully foiled an infiltration attempt along the international border in Samba sector. Alert BSF personnel detected suspicious movement and acted swiftly, forcing the infiltrators to retreat back across the border. The quick response ensured no breach of Indian territory and prevented any possible threat to civilian or military areas. We talked with the local people of the Jammu region, and they have stood with the Indian Army, and they have fully enthusiastic towards the national integrity and sovereignty.
All right, Ankush, thank you for getting us the latest from there. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. J Shankar. The Secretary reiterated his condolences for the horrific terrorist attack in Pahalgam and reaffirmed the United States' commitment to work with India in the fight against terrorism. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also spoke with Pakistani Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif. The Secretary reiterated his calls for Pakistan to take concrete steps to end any support for the terrorist groups. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. J Shankar spoke with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio last evening. Dr. J Shankar deeply appreciated the U.S. commitment to working with India in the fight against terrorism and underlined India's targeted and measured response to cross-border terrorism. Minister J Shankar stated that India will firmly counter any attempts at escalation. External Affairs Minister Dr. J Shankar also spoke with Vice President of the European Commission, Kaja Kallas, and discussed the ongoing developments. The External Affairs Minister stated that India has been measured in its actions, but any escalation will receive a firm response from India. External Affairs Minister also spoke with Italy's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Antonio Tajani and discussed India's targeted and measured response to firmly counter terrorism. Minister J Shankar stated that any escalation will be met with a strong response. Earlier, Dr. J Shankar warned that India has no intention to escalate, but if attacked, it will be met with a very, very strong response. Take a listen.
You are visiting India at a time when we are responding to a particularly barbaric terrorist attack on 22nd April in the Indian Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. This attack compelled us to respond on 7th May by striking at cross-border terrorist infrastructure. Our response was targeted and measured. It is not our intention to escalate the situation. However, if there are military attacks on us, there should be no doubt that it will be met with a very, very firm response. As a neighbor and a close partner, it is important that you have a good understanding of the situation.
And Home Minister Amit Shah on Thursday night spoke to chiefs of the country's border guarding forces, including the BSF, and that guards India's border with Pakistan. During the conversation, the Home Minister took stock of the situation along the international borders amid heightened tensions between both the sides. And Lieutenant Governor of J&K, Manoj Sinha, is closely monitoring the situation and said government is fully prepared to deal with any eventuality. He has directed the district collectors for shifting of villagers from vulnerable areas to the safer locations. He has also asked officials to ensure boarding, lodging, food, Medicare and transportation for the people who are being shifted to safer places. The LG assured that safety of every citizen is a top priority. And a barrage of coordinated disinformation has been carried out by certain social media handles in general and mainstream media, in particular in Pakistan, with the sole objective to instill fear among the Indian masses. The psychological warfare has been actively debunked for the last few weeks. The Press Information Bureau on Friday debunked the claims of an explosion at the Jammu Air Force base being made in several social media posts. As per PIB fact check, the image being circulated is an old one. The image is completely unrelated to the Jammu Air Force base and is in fact from the Kabul airport blast in August 2021. PIB cautioned people to not fall for misinformation and always verify before sharing or circulating any information. And the PIB's fact-check unit also refuted a false claim of an attack on Gujarat's Hazira port by Pakistan. In a social media post, the fact-check unit of PIB clarified that this is an unrelated video confirmed to depict an oil tanker explosion, and the video is dated July 7th, 2021. It also urged people to not share this video. Another fake video of drone strike from Jalandhar is being widely circulating on social media. This is an unrelated video of a farm fire. The video has the time 7:39 p.m. while the drone attacks began much later. And another false viral WhatsApp message is being circulated about closure of ATMs across India for 2-3 days. The fact check unit in a social media post debunked the report, saying that the message is fake. All the ATMs will continue to operate as usual. It also urged people not to share unverified messages. Thus, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has launched India Fights Propaganda campaign across social media platforms. In order to support and amplify this campaign, all are requested to put up this as the profile picture on all official social media accounts of respective departments or media units. So, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, they have launched in fact this hashtag India Fights Propaganda campaign across all social media platforms, and in order to give full support and amplify this campaign, they have requested to put up this as the profile picture on all official social media accounts of respective departments and media units. And to talk more on this, DD India's Nandita Dagar is joining us from Delhi. Nandita, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has launched India Fights propaganda campaign across social media platforms, not falling prey to psychological warfare.
Yes, good morning, Abhishek. In these times of conflict, you can very well imagine when an enemy is not capable enough, it will resort to these kind of psychological operations, psychological warfare to create panic and misinformation, disinformation amongst the public or the general populace of India. To counter that, of course, for the past 3 days, our Indian government, through its Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, is doing regular fact checks via Twitter, because in this age we know that Pakistani army 3 days back tried to deface some of our military websites also, and that also was countered by the Indian army, that disinformation. And now, as you know, for example, a claim that is as laughable as the former army chief, this is a absolutely false claim by some Twitter handles that a former Indian army chief, General V.K. Narayanan. Now we have had no army chief called General V.K. Narayanan in the past more than 70 years. We've had no such army chief who's been named General V.K. Narayanan. He has written to the Northern Command giving details of operational preparedness. So these are just tactics by the enemy to actually unsettle the Indian military, mislead the Indian population. Also, Abhishek, Pakistan cannot actually match India in its military preparedness or capability on the battlefield in conventional warfare, and that is the reason why we have been seeing for more than 75 years Pakistan resorting to asymmetrical warfare, which means which it calls its strategy of bleeding through 1,000 cuts, wherein it causes terrorist attacks through its proxies, just as we saw on the 22nd of April in Pahalgam, when 26 innocent tourists were gunned down at point blank range in a military style execution. So apart from that, when Pakistan has been defeated on all fronts, when on 7th of May the Indian Air Force undertook this action of striking on the launch pads of the Pakistani terrorist camps in Bahawalpur and Mirpur and Kotli, they actually circulated fake videos, and you can just imagine when the Defense Minister of Pakistan, when he's asked on an international channel, he confesses that Pakistan has been doing the dirty work of the Western nations as far as terrorism is concerned. What more can you ask for? And it is so laughable that the Defense Minister of Pakistan, who himself is not in control currently, because it is the army which calls the shots in the Pakistan political establishment or the government, any government, be it led by Shahbaz Sharif or Imran Khan, is a puppet government. When Shahbaz Sharif was questioned about its claims of downing Indian jets, you know what the answer he gave to the anchor on CNN? He said, "I've seen it on social media handles." So this kind of a military establishment, you see the Defense Minister of Pakistan is himself unaware of what is going on, and they themselves have resorted to this kind of proxy warfare by not just by terrorism but by misinformation, and they are giving out, as you have just listed out, some events. The Pakistani army has also circulated these reports that there is a 20 Raj battalion which has been targeted by Pakistani missiles. This is absolutely false, as has been brought out by our PIB website and also PIB fact check. They say that now one of the videos of them showing that there is a drone attack in Amritsar, that was a bomb explosion in Lebanon in 2020. Hello, am I audible to you?
Yes. Nandita, also, what do you have to say about India's diplomatic outreach in the last few hours? Dr. J Shankar speaking with US counterpart Marco Rubio, Italian counterpart, EU counterpart, and making it clear that India will not be the first to initiate or escalate, but if provoked, if attacked, it will not shy away in giving a befitting response.
Yes, you must have noticed that in all the conversations with which our Foreign Minister Dr. S. J Shankar has had with, be it with the Secretary of State, who is effectively the Foreign Minister of USA, the EU's Foreign Policy Chief Kaya Kallas, other Western world leaders, is clearly shows this. Who had imagined, Abhishek, about 10 or 15 years back, that the Western nations would actually ask Pakistan to end its support to terror. Whenever we, in the 90s, whenever we saw a US or UK or any Western head of state visiting New Delhi, that visit was also clubbed with Islamabad, and all these visits happened together. This time, of course, they are urging restraint and de-escalation, but what is something that is very clear is that they've all defended India's right to defend its sovereignty and its people, and also they have in the conversation of Marco Rubio, as you just saw in the press release that was issued, the last line is very, very significant. When was the last time we saw the US of A calling Pakistan to end its support for terror? This is unambiguous and in unequivocal terms. So if Pakistani Defense Minister is saying that he's been doing the dirty work of USA, well, it seems that the USA is now asking it to end the dirty work, because Pakistan has been the fountainhead of terror, not just in the South Asian region. It is responsible for terrorist bombings in Bali, Indonesia. In fact, 5 of the hijackers of the 9/11 terrorist attack have been trained. They have their training. They have been trained in Pakistan. Osama bin Laden was on 1st of May 2011. The world woke up to a raid by the US Navy SEALs on Abbottabad, where they killed Osama bin Laden. This was a stone's throw away from the Pakistani military academy at Abbottabad. It is like saying that if you find a terrorist camp just next to our National Defense Academy in Khadagwasla, how would you say? So Pakistan has been training, arming, funding, backing, supporting, giving arms to all these terrorist outfits, and now when we see that it is facing such resistance in Balochistan, the Balochistan freedom fighters hijacked a train earlier. They are facing an insurgency in the northwest frontier province in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So it is the Pakistani army which wants to maintain its relevance, and by conducting its terrorist attacks on Indian soil, just like it conducted last month in Pahalgam, it is trying to distract from its own policy failures and its problems at home in order to maintain relevance in the eyes of the Pakistani public. Because just remember, the Pakistani government, be it any government, Imran Khan, Shahbaz Sharif, Benazir Bhutto, they've all been puppet governments. The army calls the shots. They live in lavish establishments, lavish homes. They are filthy rich. They have a very luxurious lifestyle. Yet Pakistan is on the brink of not just moral but financial bankruptcy. Why is that happening? Because it has been funding terrorism. Its military capability is nothing compared to that of India. Whether you compare it with our warship and submarine numbers or our air defense system, just imagine our surface to air missiles, our Akash, made in India Akash missiles, which were just inducted in India about 9 years back. They downed all these projectiles which were launched by the Pakistani army last night when it started just before 8:45, and all along the frontage, from the line of control to the international border, be it Pakistan, Gujarat, Rajasthan, all these cities along the frontage, the entire frontage were plunged into darkness when air raid sirens were sounded, and they were plunged into darkness. Electricity was cut off, but all these missiles, 8 missiles actually, were downed by our Indian air defense systems. Just imagine the foresight of our government. Prime Minister Modi, he purchased these S-400 missiles despite US sanctions. From Russia, US had threatened that it will sanction India if it purchases S-400 missiles. Yet India did not buckle under pressure. It bought these S-400 missiles, and now they have proved to be so useful that not a single projectile has hit and caused any civilian casualty and has hit any military installation in India. So all these facts that you are PIB fact check that you are citing are very, very true. In fact, I would urge, as a national broadcaster of India, as the public broadcaster of India, that not just our viewers but international viewers to remain updated with authentic, verified news, must stay in touch with our public broadcast broadcaster and websites of the government such as PIB and the Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Defence Twitter handles and websites to get authentic information, because the enemy can stoop to any level, be it cyber attacks, defacing websites or carrying out these misinformation. And in this age of social media, Twitter, quick dissemination of information, even false information spreads like wildfire, Abhishek.
Yes, Nandita, also, tell us about India's diplomatic outreach also, if you can hear me, Nandita. Dr. J Shankar has warned that India has no intention to escalate, but if attacked, it will be met with a very, very strong response.
Are you asking me this question, Abhishek?
Yes, Nandita, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Abhishek, as you very well know that it was not India which started it.
Yeah.
India has been the victim of terrorist attacks by Pakistan since 1947-48 and very much in J&K since the late 1980s, when Pakistan used terror as an arm of its state policy, because it cannot counter India conventionally in the battlefield, in its military capability, in the capability of our men behind our machines. It is resorting to this. It knows that it will be finished in no time when it resorts to a conventional military conflict, and this has been borne out amply by the conflicts that of 1947-48 war, the 1965 war, 1971 war. These wars have been won decisively by India. Even the Kargil war, which was a small localized conflict, they refused to accept the bodies of their army men, saying that they were not involved. But the lie of Pakistan has been amply clear for everybody in the world, and it's just that the West is voicing out its concern against terror emanating.
Right, Nandita, stay with us. The big news coming in just now: many Pakistani terrorists are gunned down in the retaliatory firing by India's border security force after BSF foiled the major infiltration attempt along the international boundary in Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday night at around 2300 hours on 8th May. BSF foiled the major infiltration bid by the Pakistani side. Also, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is meeting CDS General Anil Chauhan. So, this is the big news that we are breaking this hour. Many Pakistani terrorists have been gunned down in the retaliatory firing by India's border security force after BSF foiled the major infiltration attempt along the international boundary in Samba district of Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday night. Nandita continues to stay with us. Nandita, do you have any information on this?
BSF on its Twitter handle had also tweeted that the international boundary in Jammu, that is Samba, they had actually thwarted an infiltration attempt. So apart from carrying out very firing with not just small arms but mortar and artillery shells in Poonch, Akhnur, Rajouri, these areas of the regions below the mountain ranges of Pir Panjal, Samba, Kathua, these are border districts that are not adjoining the LOC but the international border. This is not the LOC but the IB, and therefore the border security force is in charge of the security of this international boundary, and it is kudos to them that they have thwarted this infiltration attempt, because Pakistan, if it feels that when 8 of its missiles have been downed, when all of its drones, kamikaze drones, have been neutralized by our air defense systems, it has no other option but to actually send suicide bombers to target military installations or air bases, etc. And this is a huge success by the border security force, because in this attempt, if Pakistan could not carry out these drone strikes, and all these drones were neutralized, they were downed and they were absolutely rendered ineffective, then the only option that Pakistan had was to send in these terrorists and suicide bombers in the under the aid of the cover fire that they were providing them. So the entire LOC from Tangdhar, Uri, which which is in Kashmir, and downwards Kupwara, Rajouri, the entire western border, with because as we go downwards along the international border for our western audiences, for our international audiences, let me tell you that the western border of India with Pakistan is not just with the northern union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, but also the state of Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and there have been misinformation that has been
yes, Nandita, stay with us. I'll come back to you. Meanwhile, Akshay Dongre is also joining us on the phone line. Akshay, many Pakistan terrorists have been gunned down in the retaliatory firing by India's Border Security Force, and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is also meeting CDS General Anil Chauhan. What more information do you have?
Well, after yesterday's escalation, there will be a change in the strategy by India too, because as of now, we have been proportionate, we have been precise, we have been avoiding any kind of escalation of this operation that was conducted by India against only terrorist outfits. But now that both of them have jointly, come out in the open as far as collaboration is concerned, India will certainly, change its strategy. And for the same meeting, and for the preparation of the ongoing days, upcoming days, there has been a meeting called between the Defence Minister as well as the Chief of Defence Staff. So, in a way, practically what we are seeing, a theaterization of the Indian Armed Forces, working with integration and synergy. The reason why the meeting was held with the Chief of Defence Staff as well, to ensure that synergy and this synchronization that is there as of the operation that have been conducted against Pakistan, it remains intact. Also, what we are the Defence Research Organization, the chief will be meeting with the minister, likely to strategize as far as India's offensive capabilities are concerned when it comes to our missile defense systems as well as our missiles that have been used in this operation, and possibility of also enhancing the manufacturing capabilities of India to manufacture these missiles and these air defense systems will likely to be discussed between the Defence Minister and the Chief of the DRDO.
All right, Akshay, thank you for getting us the latest on that story. Nandita Dagar continues to stay with us. Nandita, like you say, huge success by the Border Security Force. Many Pakistani terrorists have been gunned down, but Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is meeting yesterday also, and yesterday also several meetings have been happening. What do you make of these developments happening very thick and fast?
Terrorist camps in a very clinical, methodical, considered manner. No military installations of Pakistan have been hit. No civilian infrastructure has been made collateral damage. Only terrorist targets were identified and targeted. Despite that, if Pakistan chooses to retaliate, these were the words of our Indian Foreign Secretary, Mr. Vikram Misri. He had said that if Pakistan wishes to retaliate, India will give a befitting and quote-unquote suitable response. And therefore, when Pakistan last night launched the day before yesterday, when Pakistan targeted 15 cities on our border, including Falodi, Nal, Bhuj, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Amritsar. It was when these cities were targeted on a night of 7th to 8th of May, that yesterday, that is on the 8th of May, the Indian Air Force destroyed the air defense system at Lahore, and we saw go up in a ball of flame and an explosion. And then there was a foreign ministry briefing that was held by our foreign secretary, Mr. Misri. He was flanked by Colonel Sophia Qureshi of the Indian Army and Wing Commander Vyomika Singh of the Air Force. They had detailed the operation, and Mr. Misri said unequivocally, unambiguously, that India does not wish to escalate. It is and does not enter into an escalatory ladder. When Pakistan steps on the escalatory ladder, India is left with no self-respecting nation will tolerate 26 of its civilians or tourists, innocent people gunned down at point-blank range. And when it has responded,
yes, Nandita,
and the other nation carries out
Pakistan, they have been targeting civilians. India strike terrorists, not innocents. And it seems that Pakistan is not comprehending the gravity of the situation, but the world is. Earlier today, a missile-like weapon which looks bigger than a big drum was found near the Dargah in lane number 4 of Bir Talab in Bhatinda. This is the latest that we can tell you from Bhatinda. A missile-like weapon which looks bigger than a drum was found near the Dargah in lane number 4 of Bir Talab in Bhatinda. Meanwhile, a day after Indian Armed Forces began Operation Sindoor, true face of Pakistan Army was revealed. Its officers in their uniforms attended the funeral of terrorists who were neutralized by India's pinpoint strikes in Lashkar site in Muridke. The Pak Army personnel offering namaz-e-janaza to the killed terrorists is one more proof of the implicit support terror groups enjoy in Pakistan. And amid escalating tensions between India and Pakistan, the Civil Aviation Ministry informed that 24 airports across northern India have suspended civilian operations until further notice. The Bureau of Civil Aviation Security banned entry of visitors to the terminal building of airports and also made secondary ladder point checking compulsory for all flights as part of enhanced security arrangements. As part of stepping up security arrangements, the agency has made secondary ladder point checking compulsory for all flights at all airports, ensuring 100% serviceability of all CCTVs at airports and deployment of in-flight security officers in flights based on prioritization, randomization are among the other directions. Alright, we'll keep getting you updates on this, but that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.